Do this to improve your relationships. Hi, my name is Dr. Meghana Dikshit. I'm the author of the book You Matter and Brain and Performance Expert. If you're new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon so that every new video is notified to you. Today I'm going to talk about the relationships. And to improve your relationships, you first know what are your attachment styles in relationships. There are 4 attachment styles human beings have, and based on these attachment styles, we respond emotionally in our intimate relationships, in our social relationships, or even in our professional relationships. So let's dive deeper to understand what are these relationships attachment styles. So in 1950s, 2 psychologists came together to develop this theory that at a young age, when you are under the age of 11 months, whatever your caregivers or the primary caregivers or people those who are around you and their behavior towards you determines how you are absorbing what is going to be your relationship style for the rest of your life. This is, of course, if you haven't understood it or if you haven't worked on it. And it will be interesting to know that what is your attachment style along with what is the attachment style people have around you, and why do you have somewhere in some relationships great synergy, at the same time in some relationships you have great conflicts. So let's dive deeper into this topic. So there are 4 attachment styles: secure attachment, avoidant attachment, anxious attachment, and fearful avoidant attachment. Now I'm going to go deep into every single attachment and explain you how these attachments are formed, what could be the behavior of your caregiver, and how you perceived it to then form your own attachment style in your relationships. As an infant, when you develop this relationship style or attachment style, you pretty much all your life live by that attachment style and behave in a certain way in any of your relationships. So let's understand the first attachment style, the secure attachment style. In the secure attachment style, you're very, very secured in a relationship. The way the information comes to you from your partner, from your family members, from your friends, or from your colleagues, you just receive that information and you don't react to that information in terms of getting anxious or avoiding that information. You don't go either sides. There is no black and white, but for you, when the information comes to you, you receive it in a positive light. When you look at that information, you have your own way of processing it, and then you look at it whether this information stands true for you or would you like to eliminate this information. You're very secured, and your behavior is you're not going to feel hyper if a person is not listening to you or if a person have their own opinion. You're going to be okay with people having their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own opinions, and their own views, their own ideas. You're not going to impose or not get imposed by other people's ideas and views without you carefully scrutinizing them, that whether these ideas or these behaviors help you to change your life and upgrade it. You're very, very secure in your relationships, and you are okay to, let go of a relationship which does not serve you, or if you cannot serve in that relationship. For you, both people stand on the same ground. You're both equal, and you don't look at the person below or above you, or not look at yourself or below or above them. So you are very careful about forming a relationship in a very secured, in a very comfortable way, in a very comforted space. People with you feel safe, and they can easily trust you, and they can confide in you and not feeling judged about their life. Second attachment style is an anxious attachment style. In this style, you are deeply insecure about your relationships. You are driven by the fear of abandonment. You're always feeling whether your partner is not responding to you right, or whether your partner is thinking different, or whether your partner is going to leave you. You're constantly going to be anxious about not receiving the text back immediately, or your partner canceling on you or changing their plans. This attachment style comes from a deep insecurity of being left alone and people leaving you. And in this insecurity, you're constantly imposing your anxiety on the people around you. You're constantly keeping a tab on them, you're constantly checking on them, their whereabouts, and all the things that are going on in their life. This attachment style is where people are very needy and clingy. And it's a very, very insecure and a very anxious space to be. Third attachment style is the avoidant attachment style. Now, this entire attachment style is driven by the feeling of fear of intimacy. You don't want to get close to the person next to you. You don't trust people and you don't want people to come close to you because you are fearful of what if they leave you. You're fearful of getting emotionally attached, and so that you avoid that relationship completely. You have a wall around you so that people do not penetrate inside who you are. So you're always living in a fear that what if people get to see you clearly? And for this single reason, you don't want people to come close to you and you keep avoiding them. Most of the times you'll observe that people, those who have this attachment style, are emotionally unavailable partners. You will commit to something, but somehow you're never able to deliver it. You are somehow never able to keep your words and you're always going back and forth on your commitments. Fourth attachment style is a fearful avoidance style. Now, in this style, you're a combination of an anxious attachment and avoidant attachment. You will observe that sometimes you display the behaviors of anxious, clingy, needy person. At the same time, another time you will display the behavior of the one who is avoiding and not being able to be emotionally available. You're going to observe that you are craving for affection, at the same time avoiding it or not giving it. So you're oscillating between the extremes, either being anxious or either being avoidant, and you don't know who you truly are. There's always this underlying fear to be true to who you are. And in this particular attachment style, people are generally, going through bouts of anxiety in relationships. At the same time, you have difficulty managing and regulating your emotions. You don't know why you're doing. There are some anger outbursts sometimes, or there are some sort of avoidance sometimes, heightened sexual drive sometimes, or sometimes totally eliminating and avoiding. Basically, you are someone who doesn't like to focus on how you're feeling, so you avoid it or you get anxious about it. Which of these personalities that you are? Which is your attachment style? Can you let me know in the chat box? Or maybe you can also look for people, those are around you, and be more aware that why they are behaving the way they are behaving. Which are they? Are they secure? Are they anxious? Are they avoidant? Or are they fearful avoidant? Which style do you resonate with? Because now we're going to go dive into understanding what style of parenting or what style of caregiving you may have received to be in that attachment style. Let's begin this. Human beings are by birth helpless. We are dependent on other people and we have a deep need for this validation or for this attachment to understand life better. Because when you are younger, you are looking at the world through the lenses of the caregiver that is around you. So, in a secure attachment style, your caregiver was attuned to and responsive towards your needs. And that's where you grew up very secure and safe in your relationships, under your skin. At the same time, you're okay to give that space to the other person in your life. To develop an anxious attachment style, you may have gone through a caregiver who's unpredictable. Sometimes they are showering their love and their care towards you, and sometimes they're withdrawing. They're very volatile and very unsure about the responses that they gave you towards your needs. So you don't know, as a child, when you saw this caregiver, you didn't know how would you respond. The highest level of insecurity a child starts developing when they cannot decode or cannot predict the behaviors of the adults in their life. And in that case, they're all the time going to be fearful about what is going to be the next reaction? Am I going to get love or am I going to get scolding? And in this case, you develop that style of anxiety or fear, or going through that entire bouts of, is your partner going to be with you, not going to be with you? Do they love you? Do they not love you? There's always a question mark into receiving the commitment and love from your partner. To develop a avoidant attachment style, your caregivers were very dismissive. Every time you had a need and you asked for something, you were dismissed and you were told that your needs are not important. Or what do you think of yourself for asking for this? Or I don't have time for any of this. I have a lot of work to do. Your needs were always suppressed and you were always said that it's not important. Your caregivers were emotionally unavailable and they failed to create the safety in your environment. And that's the reason you developed a style where you are also dismissive about your own feelings. And when you dismiss your own feelings, it's so difficult to identify what other person is feeling. And so in order to do that, you also dismiss the feelings of the other people in your life. To develop a fearful avoidant attachment style, your caregiver was again very unpredictable, and sometimes that unpredictability led to abusive relationship. It could be abusive physically, or it could be verbally abusive, or it could be emotionally abusive or sexually abusive. If your caregiver have abused you or have traumatized you for some way or the other, you're going to develop a deep fear or a deep trauma where you want to either avoid it to be part of that relationship, or you yourself are going to be vengeful in a relationship. So you will observe being sometimes abusive, sometimes caring, sometimes loving, and sometimes really threatening in a relationship. You don't know how to set the boundaries because that's what your caregivers did. There was no boundary. And it was so fluid for you that it is so difficult for you to develop the healthy relationships. Which of these four do you fit into? Or you don't fit into any of this and you have entirely different behavior? I would love to know, because one thing that I realized in my research of the human behavior is there is no absolute truth. Human beings can behave differently. Sometimes it's a combination of two attachment styles. What has been your experience and how are you dealing with your relationships right now? It's very important to be aware of your behaviors, your feelings, and what's your attachment style is, to then create the healthy relationships. Let me know in the comment box, and if this video helped you, share it with at least 10 people so that they get to know what is their attachment style. Again, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and give me a like if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.